showed which books I'm gonna take, but I mean, here, so of course I'm gonna show them again. Yeah, I read most of the books in August. One of them is from September. Yeah, but I was just gonna show them all because I feel like yeah, I don't want to put all of them in my September wrap up, and yeah, it was only one book in September, so I think that's okay. Okay, let's see. I think we're gonna start with this one because that was also the first that I read. This is Die Sache mit Rachel. Die Sache mit Rachel. Die Sache mit Rachel. Die Sache mit Rachel. Von Caroline O. Danak. The English title of this book is The Rachel Incident. And I think this came out actually like last year or this year. Yeah, last year. Oh no, 2023. Yeah, and I think it was like not super popular back then, but I've seen it every now and then, and I really wanted to pick it up, but yeah, I just couldn't get my hands on an English edition, and the German editions were always in hardback, but now there is finally a paperback version, so I bought it. And this book is about our main character, Rachel. I think when you read the back of the book, at least from in this edition, you don't really have a clue what it will be about. So I will say it in my own words. But yeah, it's about Rachel. In the beginning, we get a POV from where she's like, I don't know exactly, but maybe like in her 30s. And then most of the story is told when, yeah, or takes place in her 20s. So it's mostly like she remembering the things that happened, but it's not all like written and thought, like it was a thought. It's really just the POV from when she was 20 or in her 20s. And yeah, when she was in her 20s, she was studying at a university. I really don't know what. Maybe, yeah, I think something to do with literature. And she meets this man, and they instantly click and become best friends. And then they relatively quick move in together. And yeah, the story goes from there. It's a wild ride, I would say. Some weird stuff happens. So, yeah, she has this professor that she thinks is kind of hot, and she wants to seduce him, and they plan a whole event at the bookshop where they both work, so that they get in contact and stuff and then, yeah, it's just a book about navigating your 20s. It's about love, it's about relationships, it's about friendship. The friendship of Rachel and fast food chain, but not really like with the typical fast food food. I don't know if this restaurant chain really exists because I don't live in the US where this takes place. Yeah, but it's, as I said, also about his work there and his co-workers, and they're all kind of poor. Of course, they are not earning that much money in this market or in this restaurant, and yeah, southeast London. Both are black British, both won scholarships to private schools where they struggle to belong. Both are now artists. He's a photographer, she a dancer, trying to make their mark in a city that by turns celebrates and rejects them. Tenderly, they fall in love, but two people who seem destined to be together can still be torn apart by fear and violence. It was an achingly beautiful love story and a potent insight into race and masculinity. Open Water asks what it means to be a person in a world that sees you only as a black body, to be vulnerable when you are only respected for strength, to find safety in love only to lose it. With gorgeous, soulful intensity, Caleb Nelson has written the most essential British debut of recent years. Many people say that this is like a love story, and yes, it is. There is a love story in this, but I also saw some reviews where people were like, okay, but I feel like I didn't get to know the female main character that well, and I can agree with that because I feel like it, of course, there is a love story, but this book is a lot about the main character and other topics that he deals with that also affect his relationship with the woman. But as I said, also about very different topics. It's about masculinity a lot. It's about being a black man in the wanted to say in the US. No, it takes place in London. So being a black man in London, it is a really interesting book. It's also beautifully written. It's very lyrically. Some people say that it has a melody, and I can see why people say that. Or like a rhythm in this, and yeah, I think that's also kind of true. I also love that there are a lot of references from other artists, music, art, all that in our books. I think other black artists, especially, I don't know, I mean, I didn't know all names, but I think they were all black artists, because this is really a book about being black as well, I would say. I think it's nearly the main point. I mean, of course, it's a love story, but it is true that you don't really get all the character traits of the woman, and I don't know if I would criticize that. I mean, I think you could criticize it if you think this is a romance book, but I would say it's more than a romance book. Or more, I mean, it's something different. Yeah, I can really recommend it. I gave it 4 stars, I think. And I also, I haven't annotated it yet, but I underlined many say anything about the plot. If you generally don't know what the series is about, it's about our main character Cassie, who is a natural, and a natural is somebody that has a special ability. It's not like magic or anything, it should be realistic. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. And there are like other teenagers who are a natural. They all have different abilities. Our main character is a profiler. There is one girl that can detect lies. There's one boy that can read emotions, and they build like a group to solve cases for the FBI. At first it's only cold cases, but of course that would be boring, so yeah, they are also on active cases. I will say that much about the plot. Every book has a different case, but there's one big case that connects all of the books. And the big case, and I feel like this is not a spoiler because you get to know it right in the first book. This big case has something to do with the murder of Cassie's mom. Yeah. So, but now to this book. So, this book, as it is the last book in the series, really is about this big case. And to be honest, I didn't really care for the little cases. But I thought that this big case was really interesting, and also brought a lot of suspense in. I was really hooked, and I really enjoyed the first half. But to be honest, things got a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. It's also sometimes a little bit silly, because as I said, the abilities that the people have, yeah, it's not about a magical world or anything. It's always that the people that have this, that are natural, had traumatic events in their lives, and or like their childhood at all was in total was traumatic, and so they developed some abilities to survive that. I can get that with profiling, I can get that with reading emotions, I can also get that with lie detection, even though I feel like nobody can be 100% lie detector, sorry. So this is where it starts to be a little bit ridiculous. But in this book we learn about a new character. I feel like this is not really a spoiler, but yeah. And the ability that this character has feels rather magic than real. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest, yeah. And what I also really don't like with this book is I think it's a bit unrealistic how everything revolves about our main character, because she's a teenage girl. Why would the world care about this girl exactly? She, of course, is in the middle of the whole case. It's about her and stuff like that, and I feel like, okay, when you know what happens, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I feel like it's a little bit silly that really she is this involved which takes place like, I don't know, 10, 20, no, 10 years later, where they are all in their mid-20s, and yeah, it felt a little bit unnecessary, also a little bit, yeah, not